Yes, guys, welcome to the Game Week 32 deadline live stream. My name is FPL Nacho, and I do apologise for being late on here. I'm about 10 minutes late, but we are here for the next 50 minutes going up until that 6:30 UK time deadline. I'll be revealing my Game Week 32 free hit team, currently ranked around 100k in the world, so there are going to be a few differentials in there that hopefully will propel me up those ranks. And of course, be answering all of your questions throughout this live stream. So if you have anything you want answered, make sure you drop them in the comments. It's not them usual live streams where I answer them at the end. I will be answering them every single minute throughout this live stream while we go through the usual stuff, which will consist of my free hit team reveal, captaincy discussion, predicted points, and of course, all of the hot topics that you guys need answering. So without further ado, let's get into it. And if I could ask you to please hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the live stream, it's always appreciated to show that you are enjoying what you are watching. And let me know where you're tuning in from, and let me know what, I was going to say what your name is, but it obviously comes up. So just let me know you're getting involved. It'd be awesome to see who is on this live stream. I see John's in there already asking a question. Hi Nacho, I'm going to get in early, free hitting, and I'm torn between Kane and Odegaard versus Gabriel Jesus and Madison. What do you think? Currently got Kane and Odegaard, scared of not having Kane. Yeah, so I think that's the big thing right now. When you're free hitted, you have all of the luxury and flexibility of doing what you want. If you're in a position where you're free hitted and you think to yourself, I can't be without Harry Kane, then that's your gut telling you simply to go with Harry Kane. Now, for me, I think you're in a classic case where you're probably looking at the ownership picks of Kane and Odegaard versus the differential picks of Jesus and Madison. So I think from a rank chasing perspective, Jesus and Madison is the combination you want to go for. The reason why you feel like you're scared of going without Kane is probably because you know a lot of the game own him. And if he was to do well, then he's probably going to hurt your rank a little bit. So it's all about kind of, what does your gut tell you? I don't really want you to think to yourself, I really don't want to go without Kane, but I'm going to do it anyway. I think really, if you're in that position where you think to yourself, I really want Kane, just do it. I think that's the best approach to have in FPL, because some people do go against their gut, and then when it backfires, you really start to question what is actually the thing that's dictating your decision making. And I think that's the route to go for sometimes on free hits, because there are so many different ways you could do it. You could go for a differential chasing free hit. You could go for one that is just completely based on underlying numbers. There are so many different ways to go about it. And I think first and foremost, if you go against your gut, you're really going to kick yourself going forward. So if you are in that position where you're just scared of going without Kane, I think just go with him. Spoiler, I'm going without him myself. Rio, hi Nacho, will I start Castagne or Alex Moreno and Madison or Eze? Going to show you my team in a minute. And spoiler alert, I'm going for those Leicester boys, but I will obviously chat that in a second. Paul, even in Nacho, Jota or Gakpo, currently on free hit, and I have Jota over Gakpo. What's your opinion? Well, of course, Paul, both are at different positions, with Jota being a forward and Gakpo being a midfielder. So it's all about what the alternatives available to you. I personally am fancying Gakpo with the news of Firmino's injury. I think there's more chance of Darwin Núñez coming on for Jota on the left wing role rather than the centre forward role. I think Gakpo is probably the route I would go for, because I think the midfielder just accommodates my team personally with the forwards that I'm going for. But if you're in a position right now where you think there's not many good forwards out there, I think Jota is an amazing differential this game week. And Raccoon saying Salah or Watkins or Martinelli or Odegaard captain. We're going to come on to captaincy in a bit, but straight off the bat, I think Mo Salah is the #1 captaincy pick this game week. So I think he is the route to go for. And Christine's saying Eze or Bowen. I'm a little bit hesitant on Bowen. I think he is a really nice differential pick, but coming off the back of obviously Europa League last night and against a Bournemouth team that are actually looking quite good recently, I'd probably rather go for Eze if that money is then going to accommodate to upgrade other parts of your squad. So let me know there in the chat, Christian, what your thoughts are. And John's also asking, just showing his team, Johnson, Robertson, Trent, Trippier, Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, Salah, Kane, Tony, Watkins. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that team at all. I think it's a really nice team. You got the midfield three. Obviously, if we do get some news about the Jesus lineup, obviously if he's starting or not, or whether a midfielder is bench, then we can understand what to do with our teams if we get that news. And of course, if I hear it, I will of course share that with you guys, because it's likely going to come from Twitter, and I have got Twitter open, and I've also got, I have to say, Let's Talk FPL open, as he did have that Arsenal lose last time, and I do think it is worth just having him in the back of your minds. As if anyone in the content world is going to have Arsenal news, it will be him. But of course, I will relay any information that I do see. So without further ado, let's get into my current Game Week 32 free hit team, and I can talk through the decision making and why I have gone for them picks. So let's get into it right now. So here's how my free hit team is looking. However, I have made a few changes in the last 5 minutes or so. So the base of this is correct, but I just want to quickly talk about the things that have slightly changed, just to give you a bit of an update. So Johnston is my goalkeeper. I don't see myself swaying from that at all. The first change I've made, I had enough money in the bank to upgrade Iverson to Raya, so I've decided to go for that route. I think Raya, if anyone is going to accumulate a monster haul, it could be him. He is so good for save points and for bonus point accumulation. That's why I've gone for Raya as my backup goalkeeper. But of course, I think Watkins and Aston Villa will score. Therefore, I have chose Johnson over Raya as my goalkeeper. So Johnson to start, Raya on my bench. Defence. I've ended up changing this order of my team. So Trent and Trippier are starting. Currently, I have Castagne starting over Alex Moreno. I personally think there's going to be goals in the Brentford-Aston Villa game. Therefore, I need to understand, would I rather have Castagne or Alex Moreno? And currently, I'm on the favour of Castagne. I've got this image in my head of Dean Smith's first game in charge. Obviously, we're going to rule the Man City game as just like a free hit for any manager when his first game is away at the Etihad. First game in charge, an absolute must win. I just have this image of Leicester winning against Wolves. I think Castagne offers both the attacking potential and the clean sheet potential. Now, of course, this is all gut feel. I cannot sit here and confidently tell you that I've seen something in the underlying numbers to suggest Leicester are going to pull it out of the bag against Wolves. But this is what free hits are all about. Taking those punts. And for me, chasing rank and not really having to cover anything, I think Castagne is one of those that could be the magical differential to go for. So he is going to be in my team ahead of Alex Moreno at the time of recording. The other defender is going to be, I believe I've gone for Guy. Let me just double check. Yes, Guy as just a Crystal Palace backup as my third spot. So my defence is going to be Castagne, Trent and Trippier. Midfield has not changed. Saka, Martinelli, Maddison, Salah and Gakpo. I am locked in with that. Yes, I understand Maddison is a bit of a punt. And basically the deliberation I've gone for is, do I go for Maddison as a midfield 5 or do I go for Solanke in a front 3? Now, I think Solanke has been a phenomenal option the last few game weeks and Bournemouth have been producing some really good underlying numbers. But I just feel like if there is going to be a player that racks up a monster haul from attacking potential and is a differential, I think Maddison is the one. I really do think if Leicester are going to step up, and it's worth noting, I've always rated Leicester's attack. When they do click, they are a really hard team to stop. And I think that there are going to be goals in this game. And if they are going to get a result, Maddison is the heartbeat and the talisman of that Leicester team. Now, again, as I said, I do not have any data to support this. It's all about that gut feel. But Maddison is the one that I'm leaning towards. And I really just feel like I want to go for him this week. And if I don't go for him now, I'm never going to have him. So I'm putting all my eggs in a Dean Smith basket this week, hoping that Maddison can deliver for him in his first game in charge at home. Salah with a captaincy, no complaints whatsoever. That one is locked in for me. Yes, there is a temptation to go for an Arsenal midfielder, but realistically, Liverpool are going to do one or two things. They're either going to do a classic Liverpool and lose 1-0 against Forest, or they're going to win 7-0. And I think Salah is a lot easier to predict him scoring rather than which Arsenal midfielder is going to deliver the goods, as I think the points in the Arsenal midfield can easily be spread across. Moving into the front two, that is stuck. Jesus and Watkins is going to be my front two. Now, of course, we could get some information that Gabriel Jesus is not going to be starting closer to the deadline. If that does happen, then we are going to be panicking and you will probably have a good time watching me panic behind the screen. But right now, I am more than happy to have a 60-minute Gabriel Jesus in my team if that was to happen. The bench will be Solanke, Alex Moreno, as of course I've swapped Castagne and Alex Moreno over, and Guy as my third bench. That's how the team is looking. I am more than happy to go for that going into this deadline unless we get any more information. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and of course let's come back to answering any questions you guys have ahead of this deadline in the next 35 minutes. Right. Charlie saying start 2 and bench 1, Maddison, Elise, Bowen / Benrahma and Andreas. I cannot tell you to bench Maddison right now. If you have him, you have to start him. So I definitely would be in your situation starting. How can I don't think you can start to and bench one of the options that you've provided because you provided 4. So I'm a little bit confused on that one, Charlie. But realistically, the way I'd rank him is Maddison number 1. I would then probably play Bowen over Andreas and Elise. Then I'd play Elise over Andreas, and then I'd play Andreas as my number 4. Cheeks, I hope we're doing well. Luke, where can you find the Arsenal team news? There's no concrete evidence if we are going to get news. However, if we are going to get news, the most likely source on Twitter is going to be an account called Team News and Ticks. That is the most likely route. But of course, if you just follow some of the usual big name accounts, they are likely to be resharing, reposting any information that we do get. And if we are going to get a leak, I imagine it is going to happen probably 10 minutes before the deadline. So about 6:20 UK time. Fingers crossed we do. It will just give people a little bit more chill time if they do know what the Arsenal lineup is going to be, as otherwise we're going to be sweating about Gabriel Jesus and his game time. Raccoon saying Salah or Watkins or Martinelli. I've covered that one. Please, PS, if you said... I didn't see it. No, as I said, Salah for me is absolutely the captain. Harry saying start Solanke or Eze. I've picked Eze at the moment. I'd probably go Solanke, to be honest with you. I personally would go for Solanke. The numbers are looking really good. But of course, a midfielder gets an additional point for a goal and a clean sheet. If you were looking for that sort of route, then I think Eze is your man. Hashim's just come in with Mo Salah. Whatever that means, he is the man this week. And of course, the captaincy option for my team. Jacob saying, which 3 of Jesus, Kane and Watkins or Tony? For me, I would actually rather go for Jesus, Watkins and Tony. I'm quite bullish on the Newcastle performance and clean sheet this week. Therefore, I would be against Kane. But realistically, if you're in a position right now where you think that Newcastle are not going to get a positive result, then Kane is, of course, going to be at the heartbeat of anything good at Spurs. Therefore, I think Kane is worth a punt this week if you want to go down that route. Harry saying to have Eze or Solanke on my bench feels wrong because I feel like they'll both get points, but I can't bench anyone else. And that is going to be the situation right now, in particular for free hitting. I currently have Solanke on my bench, and that could massively backfire. And for me, it's a toss-up between Maddison or Solanke. And I just feel like the ceiling is a little bit higher on Maddison. But I would say, based on recent information, Solanke would be the pick. I, of course, am just going for a bit of a punt here that I think is needed in my team based on my current rank being around 100k. But of course, I could be in a lot of trouble if I was to tune in and see that he was obviously not playing. Now, I think the big question is Tony the one that we should go for? Because he could easily, if anyone is going to do well, be the one. He could pick up a couple of penalties, a penalty. And of course, do well in general. He is one of those players that is a talisman in his respective team. So I could easily foresee that happening as well. I just haven't had the attraction to go for Ivan Toney right now because I don't see him displacing Jesus or Watkins. So then it comes back to the argument, would I rather have Ivan Toney or Maddison? And I just don't know why I'm being a sucker for Maddison right now. It is absolutely the way I'm leaning. I don't know if it's crazy or if it's the right way to do it. Jerry saying goalkeeper option not on free hits. So this is a perfect opportunity for me just to bring up the fixtures coming up in the upcoming game weeks. This will really benefit you and anyone that is not on free hit right now. So you want to look at the right hand side here based on defensive fixtures for the next 4 game weeks. And based on that, Liverpool is the route to go for. However, I probably wouldn't be tempted to go for someone like Alisson just because I prefer the outfield players available like Trent, like Robertson, like Salah and like Gakpo. So I would not be using a Liverpool spot up on your goalkeeper. So based on the price ranges, now I know Man City are not an option right now, and I wouldn't be recommending you buying a Man City goalkeeper as they blank this week. But going forward, I think Ederson is a really nice move if you were to have a second goalkeeper that could just accommodate this game week. Going forward though, maybe a Fabianski is an option at West Ham. I think Bournemouth's Neto is a good option as well if you want to have a cheap enabler going forward. So you have a different kind of variety here. You would go cheap with someone like a Bournemouth's Neto, or if you can accommodate this week, you go for Ederson at a more premium rate, knowing that you got guaranteed minutes for their double in 34 and most likely double in 37. Mahmoud is saying Jota or Gakpo. I personally am going for Gakpo. I understand the temptation for Jota. I think he is a really good pick, and I do expect him to start and the similar Liverpool team to be rolled out this week after that fantastic performance against Leeds. But I'll be more tempted to go for Gakpo right now over Jota. And Charlie's saying, so basically mean on free hit in 3-4-3, 2 free midfield spots and 1 in bench. Thanks for your help. I think I'm going Maddison and Elise. Bowen on the bench. Love a week. Elise is a punt. Absolutely. And as I said, if your gut is telling you that Elise is the route to go for, that is absolutely the route that you should go for. I don't think you should be picking against it. I think that is absolutely a perfectly fine way to judge your decision making going forward. I have no complaints with that whatsoever. Right, let me come on to a few more questions. And of course, I'm just going to run up a quick poll in the chat to see what sort of captaincy options people were planning. I'll be very surprised if people were going against Mo Salah, but I think it is worth it nonetheless to see what direction people are going for. So let's put in a chat here. Game week 32 captaincy. If you guys could in the chat just vote on this, it'd be really appreciated just to see where people are going in terms of their captaincy options. Martinelli. Who else is going to be a captaincy option this game week? Salah, Martinelli, Saka, maybe a rogue punt on someone like a... Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll put an other, and then you can let me know in the chat who is your other pick if you were to go for another option. So if you can just vote in the chat there on your captaincy, that would be much appreciated. It just gives me an idea on what direction the community are going for in this live stream. So before we crack on with more questions in the chat, let me bring up the captaincy slide. It's a good opportunity to get a bit of a deep dive on why I think Mo Salah is the best option. But of course, if there are other options available to us. So I've decided to focus on Mo Salah, Saka and Martinelli as kind of the outright captaincy options. I do believe they are the 3 best picks this game week, but I do think there are some fantastic differentials. So for example, Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think we're in a position right now where if you are looking for a monster haul, I think Trent and the defenders in general have that capability. At home against Nottingham Forest, who are one of the worst teams away from home, we could foresee a situation where Trent racks up an assist, a goal, clean sheet and bonus, and we're looking at a potential 15-point haul. And if you were of the assumption that could happen, I really do think Trent is a fantastic differential captain if you want to go down that route. Outside of Trent and Liverpool, I wouldn't be going for Gakpo. I wouldn't be going for Jota personally. I think if I had Salah, I'd rather go for him over those two. So for me, it's either Salah or you go for a defender like Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, outside of these ones, I think Maddison is just a crazy differential punt. I couldn't recommend him at all. I think that would just be too far-fetched. I think owning him enough as a differential, let alone trying to be differential enough to captain him. So these 3 here are the ones that I think are worth considering. Now, based on predicted points for game week 32, Salah is leading the way at 7.8, Martinelli on 7.1, Saka on 6.6. So all 3 are looking really good options for this game week in isolation. Now, what I find crazy this game week is actually Mo Salah, I believe, is the best option, and he actually is the lowest ownership based on live teams at 36.8%. So Salah is not only predicted to score the most points, but he's also the lowest owned of all the 3 options as well, making him a really attractive option because 9 times out of 10 with Mo Salah in the years gone by, in a game week like this, he is owned by like 80% of the game. Therefore, when people captain him, basically you get no gains on him. We could foresee a situation where Mo Salah actually delivers you positive points if he was to go off. Because similar to Haaland this season, if Haaland scores, everybody's captaining him, nobody benefits. But this could be one of those game weeks where he could go off against Nottingham Forest and you could get them small marginal gains which could be really important to your rank. Saka at 59%, Martinelli at 58%, incredibly close, basically nothing to split them. Now moving on to the actual teams that they're playing. Nottingham Forest expected goals conceded is 1.69 per 90. Compare that to Southampton's, which is 1.36. So both teams offer chances to their opposition, but Nottingham Forest in particular are really giving their teams the potential to score against them. And it looks really promising when you see the expected goals of Liverpool at 1.93. This feels like a match made in heaven. It feels like Liverpool are creating a lot and Forest are giving up a lot. And when you put them two together, it's probably going to be a Forest 1-0 victory. No, this should be one of those where Liverpool come out with a comfortable victory and hopefully Mo Salah is in and amongst it. Now that said, Southampton and Arsenal look like a very good fixture as well. Southampton 1.36 per 90 expected goals conceded is decent, and Arsenal have always been posting up really good XG numbers across the course of the season. So I would be very, very bullish on an Arsenal victory tonight, and Saka and Martinelli can absolutely haul in tonight's fixture. So it comes down to what kind of gut feeling do you have. For me, Forest's away form, the way that Liverpool looked against Leeds, I understand it. They've done this a lot. They had a huge victory, they slip up. They have another good victory, they slip up. But I do feel like Klopp has stumbled upon something right now with the way that they are deploying Trent Alexander-Arnold. It gives more cover to them in transitional periods. I also think it gives Salah much more of a license to stay up. As I've discussed in previous videos, the way that they're getting deployed is Trent inverts into a midfield double pivot alongside Fabinho. And it's really important because previously what we were seeing was Mo Salah having to track back and offer coverage to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now in this formation, because Konate is such a fantastic 1v1 defender, and he's one of those rare defenders that can actually facilitate basically a third of the pitch. So you can leave Konate to operate the right flank and you know that he is going to be able to do a fantastic job against anyone he's against. Not many defenders can do that, it is worth noting. So what it means is the number 8s then get deployed in front of Fabinho and Trent, meaning that they can stop it at the source if there was to be a counter-attack or a turnover in transition. Meaning Salah does not have to come out of position in that front three. We're getting the best of Mo Salah in this formation. And that's why I think we're seeing something slightly different with both Liverpool, Salah and Trent. And that's why I can't look past Mo Salah right now. And looking at the current voting in the polls, I can see a lot of people are in the similar mindset as well. 88% going for Salah, 3% on Saka, 3% on Martinelli, and 6% on other. And I've seen a few people say Jota and Trent as alternatives. As I said, if I was to go against Mo Salah, outside of these three, I think Trent will be the one that I'll go for and just hope he brings in that 15-point haul that we all dream of when we are captain and defenders. And if anyone's going to do it, then it most likely is going to be him in this game week. So apologies. I'm just going to be quickly checking out Twitter just to see if anything's come out regarding Gabriel Jesus, as that really is something that we need to keep an eye out for. But right now, there is no information regarding any news regarding Gabriel Jesus, so we're all in the clear as we speak, and hopefully we will get some information between now and the deadline just to give us a bit of clarity and peace of mind rather than sweating until 7 p.m. for the news. So just a reminder for anyone that has come into my live stream recently, I'm just going to put my free hit team up on your screens so you can see where I'm at. The one change that I've made from a starting 11 perspective is I've started Castagna over Alex Moreno. I think if Leicester are going to get a result, I think it could be one of those where they do get a really positive result, like a 2-0 for example. And I think Castagna has a really high ceiling. So Castagna starts instead of Alex Moreno, and I have got Raya instead of Iverson as my backup goalkeeper, just because I think if anyone is going to accumulate a monster haul in the goalkeeping department, it most likely will be Raya. So I really want him as my backup, just on the off chance if we were to have a situation where Johnson was to get replaced by Gaeta, and it was a bit of a surprise out of the blue that we didn't realise. So more than happy to have him in the team. Outside of that, the team is how it is. I'm more than happy to roll out this team. It is basically a deliberation. Do I go for Maddison or do I go for Solanke to start? I just want to be chasing a little bit of an upside pick. And for me, that is going to be Maddison this game week. I know what he can do. And I know in this Dean Smith team, I think we're going to see some promising things from them. Some decent stuff between now and the end of the season. And because of that very reason, I just want to be on that Maddison train if it is to go off this game week. And I just feel it this week. I really do feel like it could be the week that it happens. So let me know your thoughts. Is anyone else in a position where they are still twiddling with their teams, or are you pretty locked in with what you are going for right now? I'd be really interested to know. Just checking out to see if there's anything out there, but I can't see anything regarding Team changes, so I think we're pretty good right now. No, I can't see anything right now. It is worth noting, I have, of course, benched Solanke at the time of recording, but it's not that I'm not thinking he couldn't do well. He absolutely could do well this weekend. I would be a little bit worried about what he could do. Generally, his underlying numbers are fantastic. Bournemouth are looking good, but you have to make sacrifices somewhere. And right now, Solanke is the sacrifice that I'm making for my personal team. Right. Going to come back to the answers to questions. I'm also going to put up the predicted points for this game week, just to give you an idea on which players are looking good this week. I know this helps a lot of people out there, so hopefully this does help you if you're looking at potential transfer strategies or just selecting that fourth midfielder or even that third defender. This might help you out. So it kind of says what it is on the tin. You can check this out on your screens. While you're reading through it, I'll come answer some more questions just so we are not losing out on any time. So Ashley saying I've gone for White, Eze and Solanke instead of Saka, Maddison and Moreno. Don't mind it at all. If your gut is telling you that, I don't mind it. Harry saying, feeling like an Arsenal fan, I want to go Saka as there is an opportunity because Haaland isn't an option, but Salah probably is the best option. Yeah, I think Salah is probably the best option long term. If you're looking at a long-term option, because he doubles in game week 34, and you're really going to want a bit of investment in Salah in game week 34. So that's the very reason why I would go for Salah over Saka. But of course, for this game week in isolation, it could easily go either way between the two. Saka could have his week this week and he could really redeem for that penalty miss. He is going to be fired up either way to really make up for that. What he would probably view as not his fault for the draw, but definitely an impacting factor on it. Cheeks is saying Zinchenko spotted walking to the Arsenal coach. Xhaka wasn't. Thank you for the information there, Cheekster. I'm sure you've probably picked that up on Twitter, so I imagine you have seen some solid information on that either way. So that's good to, well, it's not good to know, but it's good that there's some information being dropped. But hopefully we'll get something concrete later down the line about Gabriel Jesus, which is, fingers crossed, what we want to hear right now. Is Zinchenko starting? Unfortunately, I don't have the information right now. Joe, hi, is there any chance Saka could be rested? I personally don't see it. He had his rest a few game weeks ago. I would be shocked to see Saka rested. And also as well, it's one of those situations where he's had a bad game. Not a bad game, but he missed against West Ham. I think the best thing to do is to say to him, go out there, deliver, really show that you are confident and it hasn't affected your confidence. So I don't see Saka being benched. But of course, we may get some information in the next 10 minutes or so, which could help out. Fingers crossed we do, as that would just help kind of clarify anything anything that we are worried about. I'm just checking out to see if there's anything here, but I can't see anything right now. I do apologize. There'll probably be a few kind of quiet moments while I'm reading through Twitter to see if there's any news being dropped. But right now, I can't see anything that has kind of been trustworthy information. So I'm happy to go against that right now. And let me know in the chat, guys. Does anyone else feel like Dominic Solanke is a bit of a overhyped this week, or do we all think he's kind of like overhyped, underhyped, or kind of just, you know, exactly what we kind of expected with Solanke? Let me know. I see a lot of people going for him. I'm not against it at all. I think he's a fantastic option. I just don't know whether overhyping it a little bit. Luke saying Arsenal team news, please. Luke, unfortunately nothing right now. Cheeks saying that Arsenal team news was mentioned by Let's Talk FPL. Unknown if Xhaka was already on the coach though, so worth bearing that. Yeah, that's good advice there from Cheekster. So, yeah, keep the questions coming, guys. We've got 20 minutes until the deadline, so get them in. Make sure you have all of your questions answered between now and the deadline. I'll obviously try and help you out. Vigo saying, I think Solanke is overhyped. Yeah, so I don't think he's overhyped. I think he's properly rated is probably the way I would look at it. But it's always the case where when a player goes off in a game week, we naturally do think to ourselves, oh my God, like I need that player that went off the week before. That's not to say they couldn't go off again, but we always do have that kind of short-term mindset a little bit. It's worth mentioning though, Solanke's numbers have been very, very good. So do please bear that in mind in regards to Solanke. The numbers have been there, and it's not a surprise that Solanke has been delivering recently. It's just a case of he really went off in that game week recently. So I just want to quickly put up a slide that we have here as well that could benefit some people regarding the forwards in regards to Solanke, Gabriel Jesus and Kane, just to give you an idea on the underlying numbers that these players are posting right now. And the reason why, even if Jesus plays for 60 minutes, look at those numbers. 1.29 expected goals per 90 is ridiculous. So just to put that in perspective, like even if he was to play 60, he's probably posting like 1 XG in those 60 minutes. So he's looking fantastic, even if he was to get 60 against this Southampton team. And the big chances as well are ridiculous, 2.57. Now, the reason why I have not considered Kane in my free hit draft is, first and foremost, I back Newcastle at St James's Park. I think that's such an incredibly tough place to go to. And I think Newcastle's defence is good as well. I don't foresee them conceding 3 goals, for example. Now, looking at the underlying numbers for Kane, it is just outstanding, the fact that he's been able to rack up the amount of returns he has this season. 0.47 XG per 90 is not amazing, considering the amount of goals he scored this season. 0.12 XA as well, that's okay. But the big chances, 0.69 big chances per 90 is awful. For a player that is currently, I believe, 2nd or 3rd top goal scorer in the league, it's ridiculous that he has got the amount of goals he scored from such little big chances per 90. And it just goes to show how fantastic Harry Kane is as a forward, because the goals that he's scoring, feeding off scraps. Look at the big chances Jesus is getting compared to Harry Kane. If Kane was playing in that Arsenal team, getting those big chances, God forbid how many goals he would score. So the thing that I'm off-putting me about Kane is those big chances per 90. Is he going to get much of a sniff against Newcastle? Are Newcastle just going to have too much tempo for Spurs, and are they not going to be able to live with it? And I'm happy to kind of go on the narrative that Spurs are not going to be able to live with Newcastle. If Spurs score, I fully expect Kane to be in and amongst it, absolutely. But do I see a Kane haul? Probably not. And for that very reason, I'm happy to go without him. Andres is saying, should we follow for Arsenal team news? So first and foremost, please do stay on the stream. It is much appreciated. But from a Twitter perspective, Team News and Ticks, so that's Team News and Ticks, TIX, that's a really good account to follow, as usually if there has been information released previously, it has been from that account. So that's kind of an account that I do trust. And also from a content creator perspective, Let's Talk FPL has had Arsenal team news before and has been pretty accurate. So that's one to follow as well if you did want to have a bit more real-time information on the Arsenal news. And Damien saying, I have 3 million in the bank on my free hit and it feels wrong. Yeah, absolutely. This is the big thing when you free hit in a week where big assets don't play. No Chelsea, no Man City, no Man United. Players who are quite pricey that we would have had in any other week means that you're probably left with a lot of money in the bank. But sometimes it is what it is, and people get tempted to try and spend all of their budget, and sometimes that's not the right way to approach it. Take Solanke, for example. The numbers are great, and it just so happens he's cheap, meaning that you're likely going to have a lot of money in the bank. It's more of a mindset thing usually with the money in the bank. Who's the better pick to start? Solanke or Eze, Mitchell or Moreno? So this is a perfect example here to come back to our predicted points. So based on predicted points, Solanke is predicted to score 4.6. You can see that on your screens here. Now, Eze is not actually on the charts here, so I will just get that up on the Fantasy Football Fix site now for you, just to double check. If you give me 2 seconds, I'll let you know the predicted points for Eze this week, and they are 2.3. So not looking very good for Eze, but the reason why they are 2.3, it's worth noting, because you're probably sat there thinking, why are they 2.3? Surely he is in the form of his life right now, and surely that means that he should be posting incredible numbers. And I agree with you, like that's very surprising to see Eze's numbers that poor. Now, looking at what he's posted over the recent period, what I need to just get up right now. I just need to get up the right season. Give me a second. I don't know why that's come up. Okay, I'm not sure why that's coming up. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is basically we're in a position right now where Eze's underlying numbers haven't been fantastic. So he is scoring from opportunities that you wouldn't necessarily say he's going to score from all time. So his predicted points aren't as high as the likes of Solanke, who've been posting unbelievable underlying numbers. So for that very reason, I would go for Solanke. Mitchell or Moreno, I think probably there's more chance of a clean sheet for Mitchell, but I think Moreno offers the attack and returns, so maybe a higher ceiling. So he's got more chance of a 10-pointer. Mitchell's probably got more chance of a 6-pointer, if that makes sense there. So yeah, keep getting your questions in, guys. We have less than 15 minutes until deadline. Kane in a cheap bench midfielder or Eze in a cheap forward on the bench? I would probably rather go for... So you're basically saying Kane or Eze, and I'm not as bullish on Eze as others, so I'll probably say Kane. But you're basically saying Kane or Eze, aren't you, really? Because you're benching the alternative. So Kane versus Eze, I'd probably rather go Kane personally. That's a personal opinion right now. Luke, who should I own? Saka and Mitchell or Eze and Gabriel? I would probably rather go for Saka and Mitchell personally. Harry, Moreno or Castagne? I personally am starting Castagne over Moreno in my starting 11. And Trizzy saying Kane or Solanke. Well, based on our predicted points, it's Solanke. And I actually probably would favour Solanke as well, which is a crazy, crazy thing to say based on the price points of the players and, of course, just kind of like the generic status of the players. Like if I said to you in a 1-week punt, who'd rather have Solanke or Kane? Everybody would go Kane. But the numbers that Solanke are posting and the good fixture he has, I think Solanke is a really good option as well. So no, I'm more than happy with Solanke in terms of an option. But yeah, like I said, I'm almost locked on my team. I'm not definitely like saying I'm absolutely locked, because I do think there are other directions that my team could go. It is worth noting. But right now, I'm happy with my team that I've got. I think Castagne is a good punt. Do I love it? No, because of course I am really kind of doubling down on the Leicester defence and thinking to myself, they're going to have this dream start at home under Dean Smith. And it's very much a case of my ranks in a position where I'm almost chasing, and I need them slight upside picks to go for. Now, I can't see anything right now regarding if people are saying if Jesus is benched or not. I can't see anything right now, so it is worth noting. Nothing right now. But as I said, if we do get anything in the next 10 minutes, I will let you know. Thuso saying, Bowen, Maddison, Gakpo, which one will you choose FPL free hit? So I would rate those right now as Gakpo 1, Maddison 2, and Bowen 3 personally. That's the route I would go for it in my team as we speak. Ice Cold Jones is saying, torn to keep Kane or Jota. Is that free hit or is that general transfers? Let me know, buddy. Late saying, sorry I'm late, fam. No worries at all. Any advice for a free hit team? Well, I've had my free hit team on screen for quite a bit, so let me just bring it back up for anyone that has joined late to this live stream. But this is how my team is looking. However, I did change Castagne for Moreno, so I've decided to start Castagne over Moreno personally. But that's how my team is looking. In terms of like general advice, quite difficult to like say what the advice would be, because it's all about your gut feeling, what route you go for. But that's the kind of route I'll go for. Sorry, there was a bit of a troll saying Jesus was benched, but I don't think it's true. But it is worth noting to have a bit of an idea of what you would do if he is going to be benched. Now, if he is going to be benched, based on what my team looks like, then I probably would take out Jesus. I would probably bring in Solanke, and then I would start Ben White in defence, and that would be my third Arsenal coverage. I think that's probably the route I'd go for. I don't really messing about in my midfield. I think that would just be an easy route for me in the team, most likely. Mini Creek saying, stupid they bench Jesus, they have to win. Yes, I agree with you. Ice Cold Joe saying, got Salah but want to keep Kane. You got Salah but you want to keep Kane? That's absolutely fine then. I don't think you need to really necessarily take Kane out. Like, he could score any place, any time. And they have Man United in game week 33. I don't view that as a difficult fixture necessarily, with both Harry Maguire and Lindelof in defence. So, don't think you need to sell Kane this week. Control Delete saying, your voice is satisfied. Probably the first time I ever heard that, as I feel like I have very much a southwest tone, which can frustrate a few people. So, that's good to hear. At least somebody enjoys it. Again, guys, I do apologise. A little bit of kind of like hesitancy in the stream, but it's mainly just because I am making sure there is no news out there right now. So there's a lot of trolls out there, it's worth noting. So So yeah, I'm just checking. This will benefit you if I see anything, but I can't see anything right now. So I'm more than happy to keep the team that I have right now. Robertson or Guy? It's going to depend. Are you looking for a third Liverpool option? Like, if you go for Guy, do you then have another Liverpool option that you're going to put in your team? Or are you just in a spot where you're just like, I'm not having a third? Because Robertson, absolutely, if you're not going to have another third option. But if it's a case of Robertson plus Eze or Guy plus Gakpo, I'd probably rather go Guy plus Gakpo personally. That's the route I'd go for. And again, I just want to double check my team's locked in. I always do this, guys, anyone that's new. I kind of read out my team on the actual website just to make sure I have it locked in. So I've got Johnson in goal, Trent, Trippier and Castagne is my back three right now. Martinelli, Maddison, Salah with the captaincy, Saka with the vice and Gakpo with Jesus and Watkins up front. Raya in goal on my bench with Solanke, Moreno and Totti. Totti could change, to be honest with you. Like, I could definitely just change that to like a better defender. Like, I'll probably change him to a better Wolves defender, for example, if I want to go down that route. But I don't think there's going to be a situation where I need that defender realistically. Truly, I already have Trent and Salah, so I'm just looking for a fill. Yeah, so for you, you're basically in a spot where you either go for Robertson or you go for Gakpo. I think you need to answer that yourself based on your structure of a free hit. I think that's quite a difficult one for me to answer right now on that one. Paul, seeing something from FPL South, but don't know, as he says, Zinchenko starts. Yeah, not an account I'm used to. So again, I'm going to take the kind of opinion that if I don't know it, then what's it called? If I don't know the account, then I'm not going to trust it right now. See, like, there's quite a lot of people right now kind of like being trolled, I believe. FPL Boona, for anyone that knows, is trolling a lot of people right now. So a lot of people don't think that he is starting, is what it is. I think he's trolled a lot of people out there. Just checking. Nah, nothing right now. So look, there's stuff like there's an account out there that's just pretty solid sometimes, and he's basically said, also expected to bring back Zinchenko, the rest of the team to be the same as last week. That's the current news being shared around Twitter. Like, that's kind of like what a lot of people are thinking right now. I don't see Jesus being benched personally. I'll be shocked if Jesus is benched. But as I said, guys, my team personally is in a position where I'm around 100k rank, and I need a few punts and differentials that can get me up there. And I feel like this is the team that could get me up there. But Castagne, of course, instead of Alex Moreno as we speak. But I do think Alex Moreno is a fantastic option, and Aston Villa posting good numbers. I just think it could be goals in that Brentford game. Like, I don't put it past Brentford scoring against Aston Villa at all. But who would have thought I would be going for double Leicester? It's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it, really? Absolutely ridiculous. But we're in this world right now, it seems. Sorry, guys, again, I'm just making sure there's no info on Twitter as we speak. I can't see anything. See, some people out there are going big. Like, some people are going really big with, like, double Newcastle defence, which is really... I'm not going to say brave, but, like, you know, it's... I wouldn't be surprised Spurs score, but I don't think they win. Right, any last questions, guys? Please do get me. We've got 4 minutes till deadline. Simeon saying, who do I start between Castagne and Trippier? Trippier. Absolutely Trippier. Said saying, Moreno versus Castagne is tough for me, but also thinking of Trent to see. Love Trent as captain if you want to go down that route. Salah will be my number one pick, though. And Moreno versus Castagne. I've gone for Castagne, but realistically, that is just a punt. I would absolutely advise you going for Moreno if you are looking for just like the logical pick. It's just for me, I just think like I'm chasing right now, and that Leicester clean sheet could mean monster returns for someone like a Castagne. So that's why I'm going for that route right now. And like I said, I'm happy with my team. Free hit will be what it will be, sort of thing sometimes. I think same Arsenal team at last time, other than Zinni in no Xhaka, Jesus starts, but can't be fully sure how true that is. Yeah, that's kind of the thing that's going around right now, really. And guys, also, please do make sure you've actually got your free hit active. So in your actual team, you'll have your team in the pick team section, and below it, it should have a bar saying free hit active. Make sure you've actually activated your free hit and you haven't made any kind of like mistakes, just a heads up, because you may have been in a spot where like you've done your transfers and you haven't actually activated it, and then you could be in a really bad spot. So please just be cautious of that. That might be something that you are messing up on a little bit. Is there any news? I can't see any news right now in regards to Arsenal teams. So I think we're in a spot right now where I'm happy with the team I've got. No Tony could be killer. That is the only thing I would say. No Tony could be killer. But is Castagna just a wild pick? Nah, let's leave it. I'm happy. Guys, anyone's tuned in, Castagna instead of Moreno is the way that my team is looking right now. But we have 2 minutes till deadline, so make sure your teams are locked in. Again, we'll just keep an eye out for any sort of team news, but it really doesn't look like we're going to get any. Some people are saying that Martinelli, Saka and Jesus start, according to Andy. Let's Talk FPL. So he's been pretty solid, but again, please do not kind of like take anything with gospel, because there are trolls out there, of course. But I was always confident on that anyway. Eze or Bowen want a differential. I'd probably go for Eze personally if I was to go for a differential. West Ham obviously playing on the weekend, which is quite important. Sorry, West Ham playing last night, which could have an impact on them. And we have a minute until the deadline, guys. So please do make sure you are locked in. I'm just going to double check mine. Johnston, Alexander-Arnold, Trippier, Castagna. And then I've got Martinelli, Maddison, Salah, Saka, Gakpo, Jesus and Watkins up front with Raya, Solanke, Alex Moreno and Totti. Because I'm just not going to need that spot really at all. Tell you what, I will just quickly change Totti to Craig Dawson just as backup in case. Watch Totti get a bloody hattie. Oh no, I can't do that, so don't worry about it. I won't need that spot. It's fine. It's fine. Watch me need that spot now. So yeah, guys, I think we're close to the deadline, to be honest. If Jesus is not playing and you buy White, are you playing White then? No, I'm going to be playing Jesus. That's me locked in now. Jesus will be playing, absolutely. I'm happy with my team. I'm back in Maddison and Dean Smith to deliver the goods for Leicester. I'm expecting when are they actually playing? 3 o'clock, that's perfect. I'll play football, I'll get off the pitch, and I'll come on to Leicester winning 4-0 with Maddison scoring a hat-trick and Castagna getting 3 assists and probably a goal himself. So that'll just be a wonderful day, really. So I'll be more than happy when I see that. But again, guys, we are basically at the deadline now. I'm just double checking my free hit is active, which it is, with Salah as my captain, which is correct. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's looking. Saka, Gakpo, Salah, Maddison, Martinelli, Jesus, Watkins, Trent, Trippier, Castagna, Johnston in goal. Sam Johnston, that is. Right, guys, I think we've hit the deadline. I'm going to refresh the page, and I think that'll be us done. Yes, we're done. We are locked in, guys. That is us absolutely done. I think we're golden. David was saying, great stream, mate. Good luck. Thank you very much, buddy. It's always a bit of a panic when you do things like this, where it's a free hit and there could be some team news right at the end, because it really makes you kind of panic about different directions that you could go down. So for me, that was a bit stressful, but I think we're in a good spot right now. I think we're pretty happy with how it's looking. Yeah, guys, absolutely spot on. Thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, as Cheekster says in the chat, if you can drop a like, that would be much appreciated on the stream, just to show that it did provide some value. As always, I really hope you guys have a good game week. Hopefully we get all green arrows. You should get a green arrow and a free hit. Fingers crossed nothing dramatic happens. And I think that just leaves you to say, have a good game week, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Cheers.